It seems like getting chased by a dog is hood shit, huh?
Just because, I think so, because it seems like a, a good portion of people who live in the hood own dogs, and they're like,
it seems like where we live at now, if like you don't get chased by a dog, like it seems like even if you did, it seems like it would be consequences. Like, it seems like that to the dog owner.
yeah, but they're like little girl dogs.
Yeah, but I remember because we've had multiple times that I came encounter with a dog because I used to walk to school. This was when I was in Fremont. So Fremont was a middle school. And I remember this time I walked by myself. I would normally walk with my friend Alex. And this time I walked by myself. I don't know why. I don't know if he didn't go to school or not. And I went and I was over there like getting close. And all of a sudden a dog popped out of nowhere. And that motherfucker started barking at me and chasing me. So I like instinctively, the only thing I could do, there was a fence there. And there was almost like I don't know what to call it, but it was like two posts. It was metal though, on top of the fence. So I can like wrap my legs around it, post. And I just like stood up there. And I remember just sitting there. I stood there and the dog didn't leave for like, it took him probably like 4 minutes to leave. He was just looking at me. And I was like, I can't get
What
out.
about the other side of the fence?
There was where I was sitting on, there was a hole in the fence. It wasn't like a hole. It was almost like if it was a doorway. And it was open.
Oh, so he'd be able to go in.
Yeah, I was just sitting on top and I was scared. Because I was like, I don't want this fucking dog to get me. So I was like, and then after a couple minutes passed by and the dog wouldn't leave, it was just looking at me. I was thinking in my head, like, what am I going to do? And then thankfully he left. And then I ran to school.
The predicaments that you stumble upon as a kid, when you start thinking for your life. Because in that moment, you're in your head, you think that it's like life or death. Like, this motherfucker gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Give me. I don't want him to give me.
But I think like it's weird how like a kid has survival instincts naturally. I just knew like I can't.
Yeah, it's fear. Just fear makes you want to run away.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. I ran, and then I just ran straight to school because I didn't want to get him again.
As a big dog?
Well, from what I remember, yeah, it was a big ass dog. And I remember like being scared of dogs. Always being scared of dogs. As a grown man, I'm not that scared of dogs anymore. Like even if they're barking at me, shit.
Yeah, it's not scary, but you're still like,
I'm cautious about them. Like this motherfucker can bite the shit out of me, but I don't think a dog can kill me.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like when I've seen videos of women being attacked by like 3-4 pit bulls. Damn, and this when dogs can really kill somebody.
Yeah, when they're in a pack like that.
Yeah, but I'm like, like even if 4 dogs come at you, if you're showing like dominance and are fighting back, just don't fall, right? Because as soon as you fall, they jump on you. But even if I fall, I'll get up. It's a dog.
One dog dying.
I'll kill a dog.
A dog is gonna get kicked.
I'll squeeze his eyes in.
Yeah.
I'll choke a dog. I'll do whatever to a dog.
I would break one of the dog's legs.
Imagine that be the way you die. How'd he die? He got mauled by a dog. What?
Yeah, fuck that.
Now I would murder that dog.
Yeah, dogs would die. It would need to be like, if you think about animals, it would need to be at least bear size, and then it's respectable.
To be killed by?
Yeah, like you need like a wolf, a bear, something of that like size. But like dogs?
Yeah, or a coyote. Remember how I said I'll fuck up a coyote? People are like, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. I'd kill that motherfucker. What are you talking about? I'd murder that coyote. And coyotes are naturally like, I don't know if they're afraid, but they avoid humans. So it's not like
I think they're talking about like packs of coyotes.
I'm talking about one.
But even a pack though.
I mean, a pack is more dangerous, but coyotes are more small. They're not wolves. And they're very like bitch made. They're scary. So they'll run away, I think.
Yeah, well, I think one good hit and they're done. They're not fucking with you.
Yeah, because remember how that dog, like you said, that dog was chasing us in the park? And we all just started running.
Yeah, I remember we took off. It was like a big ass park. It was part of the school, but it was like this huge ass park. And I seen the dog coming. It got away from its owner, and I took off running. Didn't even look back. And then there was the big uh, baseball fence things like that is behind the pitcher or the catcher.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
cage, huh?
Yeah, I climbed that bitch, and
Yeah,
then
climbing that boy too.
I don't know, Carlos climbed it too, and Fabian and Junior kept running, and then the dog went after them, and Junior, luckily, he had a skateboard, and
Yeah,
then
that was crazy.
he turned around perfectly.
Like, I don't even know how he timed that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was luck or skill or what.
Yeah, he timed that perfectly.
But he was running and the dog was running behind him, and he noticed that it was gaining on him and he couldn't do anything. So he just spun and swung the skateboard at him and hit him with the trucks.
Yeah, in the face.
You could hear it. Boom! He hit him hella hard. That was a good ass swing. And then the dog immediately backed off.
Yeah, ran
He went,
right
"What?"
the fuck back.
Started fucking, and then the owner came, and when I heard the owner, I'm like, oh shit, right? He just beat the fuck out of his dog. But the owner didn't do anything. Remember, he just called his dog off, and I'm like,
And he
cool.
apologized, say sorry, this, whatever.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I think like dog owners are like hella protective over their dogs. They love them so.
Yeah, but it's his fault.
Even if they're in the wrong, though. But
It's his fault because it's lack of training, and it's his fault because it got away from him. If dog owners know how their dog is, if they're a danger to others or not. And if obviously this dog was, and somehow you let him go.
Dogs, that's just an instinct you think dogs have? Like it's just an instinct to attack people?
And I think some of them are naturally more aggressive, but I feel like it comes down to
why though?
How they raise them.
I wonder why. Because dogs are like, they're not like, they're kind of bitches too now because they're just sheltered. And most dogs don't bite humans. At least from pet owners. If you see one on the street, it's different because he was raised in the street. But
it's the good.
That just randomly attacks people on the street. I think like a dog can tell the difference from an intruder. So when you're taking them for a walk.
Yeah, and I think they sense certain shit too, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you would gauge that.
I like that fact though that dogs are gangsters though, and will die for you and protect you. I think that's hella tight. I remember when I was at I remember I would go home and I would cross that same park, and I would cross it like at an angle instead of taking the box way because it was shorter. And Fremont had fences, so I would jump the fence and then walk through the park at an angle, and then there was another fence, and then I would jump that fence to get home. And this time, security guard, Fremont has security guards, and that security guard seen me, and he's like, "Hey," because I was already on the fence, and I was like, he's like, "Hey," I don't know what he was gonna tell me, but naturally, whenever it was somebody of authority, teachers, police at that age, my instinct is to run. It was never like stop. At that age, it was like run. So when he said, "Hey," I just jumped the fence, and he started coming at me too. And I just started running, and I ran, and I jumped over the second fence. And when I jumped over the second fence, I cut myself. And I cut myself right here, and I have a mark. It was like
you're talking about because the fence had
it had those pokey things,
those
like
ears
this,
at the top.
And it grabbed me because I jumped, and when I jumped, it grabbed my skin and it cut me, and I still have the mark, but you probably can't see it as much anymore. But it looked like a candy cane. And I remember that's the deepest cut I've ever had, probably. It was deep. And I was surprised, and I would just squeeze it together. And I think I needed stitches, but I never got them.
Do you remember who fell on that same fence? Somebody fell on that same fence, and Junior and Fabian, their mom was sitting on the porch, and they seen us. Somebody fell. Yeah, we were jumping that fence over and over, and I remember somebody had fell, and then she seen them, She seen him. I'm not sure if it was me or if it was somebody that we were with. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember. I remember sometimes you guys would exclude me because you're like, he's too young or whatever. I remember one time you guys were gonna go. Somebody was gonna get into a fight, and you went with them, and I wanted to go, and you didn't let me go.
It was,
and I always I'm like, what? Like I get busy too. Like
I remember it was freaking. It was because you and Fabian were spitting on each other.
Spitting on each other.
Yeah, he was spitting at you, and you were spitting at him. So then Carlos got mad, and he said, "Oh, because he couldn't fight you because you were younger." He said he wanted to fight me. So then we went back there, and when we fought, I fought Carlos. I fought Pelon for whatever reason. I don't know.
This was a different time.
Yeah, and I told you couldn't come. I remember we were going to the back of the house and their ranch.
No, this is a different time where I think Carlos was gonna go fight somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Carlos, I don't even know about that.
Oh, that was like he had gotten into it with some guy somewhere down like over there across the street from, you know how we go to Grunsky and we cross that main street, that big ass busy ass street.
What's that street called?
I don't know if it was like Dixie Highway.
No,
something like that.
I think it was like Genesee.
Wherever Eddie's Pizza was.
Yeah, and then that D-Mart.
Yeah, and that big
Rite
plaza.
Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He was gonna go fight some dude over there, and it was him. He wanted me to go, and Junior went, and we walked over there, and I remember. I don't know if I remember if I told you not to come. I don't remember.
You didn't let me go. I wanted to go,
and then he was like, it was 1-on-1. They were fighting 1-on-1.
Yeah,
and Junior's like, all right, 1-on-1, right, and then his friend, which was the same age as me and Carlos, had a bat, and he's like, "Hey, 1-on-1," and it was me, Junior, because Junior wanted to jump this motherfucker from the jump. They wanted to jump this motherfucker from the jump just to get it over with, and the one dude took a bat out and was like 1-on-1, and then Junior's like, "All right, 1-on-1." So then they fought, and then the dude had gotten the better of Carlos, and they were. Junior's like, let him get up. So then they let him get up, and they were going to do like round 2. And then we huddled up. They huddled up, we huddled up. And then Junior's like, hey, so they're gonna start, right? And I'm gonna start yelling at the dude with the bat, and then you tackle him. And you take the bat from him. And I'm like, all right. And then we went back. And then they squared up. They're about to fight, and Ramiro pulled up, and he's like, "Get in the car, everyone." That's crazy how they find you.
Yeah, because that happened to me too.
There's a shit ton of streets over there,
and it's crazy because that's the second time that thing. Because you said his dad found you, his mom found me, and you always just listen to authority. That's authority,
like parents, huh?
Yeah, because like they're connected with our parents. So like. Well, I remember one time when I got into a fight after school with a kid. This guy ran from me because we had settled that we're gonna fight after school, and he was talking mad shit. So I was like, all right, then we're gonna fight after school. So as always, anytime I got into some trouble or some drama, I would always tell Alex, hey, I told him, hey, I'm gonna get into a fight after school so you can watch. I always tell him that, and then. He's like, all right. So after school, I found Alex. And I'm like, come on, whatever. Let's see. And then I'm like, where is he at? And then I seen, and he was running. He was running home.
The guy you were supposed to fight?
He was running home. He was scared. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I started running after him. And I caught up to him. And then that's when I was like, well, I thought we were going to fight. And then he was like, we're in front of my grandma's. This is my grandma's house. I said, I don't give a fuck. And he's like, well, come to the grass. Come to the grass? No, come to the street. Like, so he came to the street. We started fighting, and I was beating his ass. And the only thing he caught me with was a spinning kick. He caught me with a spinning kick, but it hit my backpack. Like, it hit my back. It didn't even hurt. But I was surprised that he pulled that move out when we're like freaking like 9 years old, 10 years old. So he must have been training or something, or
He
watching
must have
movies or
yeah.
something.
He's watching early UFC.
He hit me with that, but he didn't get no hits in, like, and I was just punching him. And then all of a sudden, the car pulls up to my right, and it was our cousin's mom. And she looked at me and she said, "What are you guys doing?" And she's like, "Get in the car." And I was like, "Okay." And I told him something like, "This ain't over. Like, we're gonna fight again, bitch." I told him something like that. And then I got in the car, and then she told me, "Are you guys fighting? Were you fighting?" And I told her no. And she just like shook her head, and she's like, "I'm taking you home to your house, to your mom." And I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna get in trouble." And I would always listen to them, like, because adults, to me, like, I mean, I guess I had like there's a respect, and then there's a level of fear.
That's from our parents, though. It seems like you can't. When it came to our parents, and then the people they knew, you couldn't disrespect them. It was all respect. To anyone who our parents knew, you couldn't tell them shit.
And it's weird how it's weird how older people view you. I remember when this was years ago. There was a fight in Bay City, and I was there, but I wasn't involved. And then word got around, surprisingly, and then my dad's uncle's wife, when they came over here to our house, and they said hi to me. I said hi to them, whatever. And then his wife is like, "I heard you're a real troublemaker," and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know anything she was talking about. Heard you getting in fights. And I was like, "I'm not getting into fights." She's like, "Are you sure? Because I've been hearing some things." And I'm like, "What the heck? Like, you're not even from here. Like, you're from Texas. And all of a sudden you come over here and all of a sudden you know the juice." Like, so I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she spread that message to my mom too. But that's parents though. But I was like, it was surprising. But it's weird how they view you, because they're like, they probably just seen, they don't know the situation.
It's just talk. It's just what's it called?
It's just talking
It's
points.
just cheese, man. Like everybody likes to. It's always. It's just a good story people like to hear of what's going on with him. It's just like anytime it involves somebody else's business, people just love that shit.
Yeah.
Like other people's business is like, that shit's sweeter than a bitch.
I think people just, probably, man, you think that's an old people thing?
I think, I think older people like, I think because it's old school, old fashioned shit. Like before the TV, internet, the amount of entertainment now is crazy. So you don't go out and look. Well, maybe people still do, but it seems like the people who go out and try to find entertainment from other people's lives or business is a lot lower than they used to be. Back then, that's all that was like. You hear what Susie did? She cheated on her husband.
Yeah. Maybe that's with age though, because your life gets more boring, I guess. But I'm surprised at that age how we would box. It's weird. Like, we was young. I was young, and I would box motherfuckers in the front yard.
Everybody, it seems like everyone, but that came from like the older kids that we used to hang out with.
Yeah,
that were like 4 years older than us. That were just starting high school. We seen them boxing, and then they were like, "Oh, you box him."
Yeah, and it should be just entertainment, huh?
Yeah.
Your cousin would be like, our cousin would be like, "Hey, you two fight.
Yeah.
You two fight now."
Yeah.
And just because you don't know no better, you're like, "Well, I'm not a bitch, so I will fight." And it's like, whatever. I remember one time, one of our cousins, his younger brother had issues with a guy down the street from us. And that street, I remember in Stockton, that street was like a no-go zone. You don't go there by yourself, because the people there we had problems with, you probably know what I'm talking about. And one time, our cousin's little brother, which is my cousin, but he was younger than me by, I think, like 2 years. He had problems with the dude from the next block over. So we all went in like a group of 5. We went over there because they already said they were going to fight. So they pulled up and they fought. And our cousin took an L, right? And they were like, "Well, and both of them were crying, right? Both of them were crying. I was surprised because I'm like, he got the better of him. Why is he crying?" And then my older cousin looked at me and he's like, "Man, you gotta fight him now because you're his age." And I'm like, "Well, all right, I'll fight him." But this dude's already crying too. The other dude who was fighting, he was already crying and he didn't want to fight anymore. So we ended up not fighting. But now that I think about it, I'm like, I had nothing to do with that. And I remember too, one time walking home, me and Alex had problems with this dude, with this kid. Think he was an Indian. I'm not sure. Or I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But he had problems with him. I didn't know him at all. And we were walking home and we seen him. And he's like, Alex told me like, "Oh, I don't like this dude, whatever." And we were talking shit from across the street to each other. And then Alex is like, "I already fought him before. I didn't witness that fight. But he said, I already fought him before. Oh, so you fight him." And I'm like, all right. Just like that. All right. Like, no thinking no better. And I went over and we fought. And his older brother was there too. And we started fighting, whatever. We started punching each other. I think this dude got the closest. Like, this could have been a fight, a split decision. Like, this is the only fight that I feel like
it went to the judges.
It went to the judges, yeah, because it's like I didn't leave. Like, if I'm being real, I didn't leave 100% confident that I won. Because when we started fighting, because think about it, we're like 10 years old, 9 years old. Like the type of moves that I got hit with, I didn't expect that. Me, it's just like throw hands. There's no wrestling, none of that shit, because I didn't learn that shit. So I just started punching him, and all of a sudden, this dude, like, I got low, I guess, and he got above me, and he put his arms over my stomach. So he's on top of my back. We're still standing, but I'm just bent over, and he like
suplex your ass?
He got his arms wrapped around my stomach, and then he flipped me, like he picked me up, and like he's like, so he Batista bombed my ass. Basically, he Batista bombed my ass. He didn't bring me up or nothing like that, but he just flipped me and he threw me on the ground. And that was hella surprising to me. I've never been fucking thrown on the ground like that. So, but I don't remember it like feeling pain or nothing. I think maybe just adrenaline. He picked me up and he threw me on the ground. And I'm like, damn, and I'm on the ground now. And then he came to me, right, to keep hitting me. So I just started kicking him. And then I started punching him. And then that's when his brother, he said, "Yeah, I could stop it, whatever." And he grabbed him and he pulled him off. And after that, I still wanted to fight. And his brother was like, "No, it's over. It's done." I still wanted to fight. And I remember walking home, I told Alex, "Damn, fool slammed me." And I'm like, did I win? That was the most important thing ever. I didn't want to take an L ever. Did I win? He's like, "Yeah, you got him." But I mean, when you look at the damage though, if we got to go to the judges on this one, the only thing he did to me was slam me. That's it. If we look at punches landed, significant strikes, and if we take it to the judges,
control time.
Yeah, that he didn't have no control. He just slammed me. But I think that slam at that time, what type of motherfucking 10-year-old slamming kids? Like, so I think that looked so good in his favor. That looked so good in his favor. And I remember seeing him again and me wanting to fight again. And he took it like, "I already beat your ass." Because of that slam, he felt he won. But if we take it to the judges, I won that shit 10-9. I won that shit. Yeah, I won that shit 10-9. Because if you look at the strikes, I landed way more hits than him.
There's no way when you hit your head when you hit the floor?
That I remember, no. I landed on my back. I think because I had my head up, luckily. But that's the only time that I've been slammed.
You might have seen a different fight if you hit your head, though. Those punches may have never land. But they might have landed in your head, but they might have never landed in real life. If you hit your head.
Oh, you're saying if he fucking fucked me up?
That's your loopy?
Nah, but I definitely landed some hits on him. He didn't hit me nothing. Like, there was no bruises on me or nothing. But it's weird that when I think back on it now, I'm like, that was dumb. but it's a hell of a story, and I don't take it back because that was fun. Like when I look at my life back then, it was stupid and like it was probably on the road to something horrible, but luckily everything didn't happen that way. But it was the most exciting time of my life because shit was just happening and not being like getting like there's no confrontations nowadays, and I don't want confrontation. Like I'm good off that. That's some little kid shit, like dumb shit, fighting for no reason. But I can't deny that it was fun. Like it was fun not knowing what the fuck and just be willing to fight anybody at any time. Like it was just interesting.
I'm trying to think of other times where we fought like that. I remember we recorded one. We recorded it. They're what was it when two people fight? It's just number two. Is that what they call it? Whenever it's like McGregor versus Nate DS2 or whatever, that's what they call it.
Yeah, like another let's fight again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we recorded it on those cameras you guys used to steal.
Oh yeah.
You guys used to steal cameras, like the original, like handheld little shitty ass 40p.
Yeah.
Little recording things. I remember we recorded a fight where the whole plan was like where they're gonna box one time and then you're gonna put the gloves in a little loose.
And you're gonna take them off? Or
yeah, like you remember that? Fighting, and then I think the first round went to and then he's like, man, fuck this, and he went like this, and the gloves fell off, and then he started fighting for real, and the other dude still had the gloves on.
Nah,
you don't remember that?
Nah,
we recorded it.
I remember them being recorded, but I don't know if I remember correctly, but I felt like there was drama over that video because we didn't. I don't know if somebody wanted us to delete it or something.
Because maybe for evidence.
I don't remember, but
that kid still recorded on somewhere, and I'm not sure where that camera is, but
yeah, because it was weird. We were just going to we were going to a Rite Aid, and we were steal shit like hella dumb. Like we would just go and we would steal cameras at that time because this is 2000 and what 2004.
Yeah, around there.
Like, so like we didn't have smartphones. Like, so you would have to, people had cameras, like they would have a digital camera or they would be using that shit that clicks. And I remember this camera at that time was like hot shit. I think it was like $20 at Rite Aid at the time. And we would go over there and I remember we stole two of them. And then we would pass by the gold coin chocolates, you know, those coin chocolates that came in a bag.
Oh, yeah.
And we would rip those open and then we would grab a handful and just put them in our pocket and just walk out. I don't know how the hell we never got caught because we weren't slick with it or nothing. We were stupid. Like, we just took the shit.
Nobody's paying attention, probably.
But, like, I think that's just like Stockton shit.
That was before they thought that people, they were probably thinking like the average person is the good person. Like, they're not, nobody's going to want to steal.
Nah, I don't know. We in Stockton. Like,
that was early on though.
But I feel like we did a lot of dumb shit. And that's why I said it was so fun because I think when you're stupid, stupidity leads to fun. But it's stupid. Like, it's stupid though. But it can be fun.
Yeah, because I remember you guys told me that you guys had come out, stole those cameras, came outside, opened them, found out that they took batteries, AA batteries.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, we got to go back in and steal batteries now.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we went in. How dumb are we? We went in there, took the cameras, learned the cameras needed batteries, and then we just went back in there like if we were buying the shit and just stole the batteries and then left. That's crazy.
Yeah, same time. Yeah, just you were just in there 2 minutes ago.
That shit is crazy.
I need batteries. That's better in the store.
Yeah, I remember too, like, cause like it's crazy how we would roam the streets. Like the stores all around there, we knew them and we would go to them. There was a McDonald's right across the street from Rite Aid. And you remember that one? You know, we would go there. And one time we went and we had got food. And our cousin, I don't remember if he had money or not. But there was just, when the way McDonald's did it, they had the orders and they would leave it on the counter and they would say a number and they would leave it there. At least at that time. And our cousin just went over there and grabbed a random bag, somebody's meal, a random meal. And then not only did he take it, he came and sat down with us and he ate the meal. And then he started getting paranoid. And he's like, and everybody was looking, the McDonald's people, because once they learned, they were like, where the hell did they go? So they started saying like, hey, like what happened? I don't know. They're all confused. And once that happened, he's like, he got paranoid and scared that something's gonna happen. He's like, I gotta go.
And he left, I remember.
And he left.
Yeah, we sat there and we were eating, and he just went up. He just stole some random bag, and it had a McChicken in it.
And he just sat down and ate that shit. That's crazy.
Sat down, ate that shit, and then left.
You steal it, then you sit down and you eat it? Damn, that's crazy. It's crazy, the things too, like, because people knew me, like, because I would go around. There was a video game store called Lord of the Games, and the infamous store. What was that guy's? Was he Mexican? I think he was Mexican. I would go over there because I remember sometimes you would send me, I think it was San Andres, and you told me go, and you gave me like $5, and you told me go tell him to clean this disc because it was all scratched and it wouldn't play on the, what was it, a PlayStation 2? Or whatever it was, it wouldn't play. And I remember I would go over there on my skateboard by myself, and again, like I'm like crossing double streets and shit as a kid, like 9 years old, 10. And I went over there and I told him to clean it. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to clean it. And I told him, why not? And he's like, because it's not going to work. It's too damaged. Like, it's not going to work. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I went home and I told you that. I said, and you were like, who cares? Tell him to clean it. And if it doesn't work, that's on me. So then I went back and I told him, clean it. If it doesn't work, that's our problem. And he said, okay. And he cleaned it and it did work. But I remember that guy knew us. And I remember I went and I traded in something. I think I traded in a bunch of games. I don't know if I traded in a Nintendo 64 for a different system. I don't remember what I traded for. But I went and I did a full-on trade with the guy as a kid. And I went home with the system and I plugged it in, and I wasn't getting any signal from it. It wasn't working. So I remember I told my dad it's not working, whatever. And so my dad's like, what? My dad was upset because he's like, what are you doing trading in your stuff for? And I was like, well, I wanted the new thing, whatever. And then he's like, now it doesn't work, and now you're out of a deal, whatever. So my dad told me, where'd you do this? And I told him, and he took me to the guy. He drove us there, and then he went to the guy and he told him, you sold my son this? And he said, yeah. And he said, it doesn't work. He's saying it doesn't work. And then he's like, it does work. I like, we've tested it. And he's like, I'll show you. And then he went and he got the TV and he plugged it in, and it worked. And it didn't work at the house. And he's like, see, it works. And my dad looked at me and he's like, he looked at him and he told him, never sell him anything ever again. He told him, don't ever sell him nothing. Don't trade with him, nothing. And the guy, he's like, you understand? And he's like, yeah. He's like, all right then. And then we left it at that.
You kept whatever you had?
Yeah, I had to keep it. He didn't give me my shit back.
But it worked though?
I believe it did. I don't remember.
Well, you must have traded for something that you wanted to play though. Because I remember back then nothing mattered.
But I remember we would go there and sometimes, because they had like the games behind glass, and the glass was slidable. And it was slidable from the outside too.
You would think it'd be slidable from one way, huh?
Yeah, but it was slidable
from both directions.
From both directions, yeah. And one time we went, me and our cousin, and the thing was already like it was locked, but it wasn't locked because you couldn't slide it, but it was a gap open. Almost like if it was messed up. And we were there and our cousin seen that. And at that time, like I said, we were dumb. And he was just looking, and he seen that the guy wasn't looking, and he stuck his hand in that motherfucker and he pulled out a random game. He got it and he left.
Like a SP or what?
I think it was like a 64 game.
Oh.
He just took a random 64 game and ran. And I'm like, damn.
He didn't notice him?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that dude seemed like sometimes he was always mad.
The Lord of the Games guy?
Yeah, especially.
I don't think he liked us because he already knew, like, I think he caught wind of him doing that. So, like, I mean, but when I think about it, it's just kids, huh? Like, he never called the cops or anything like that.
Yeah, he was there for forever. And then he move. He was in the D-Mart area. And then he moved to that spot? Or if he was there first and then went to D-Mart?
I never remember him in the D-Mart area ever. He was always on that corner over there.
I thought he was in D-Mart for the beginning.
No, I don't remember him there. But I remember like there's a lot of stories from that, and some of them I already told. But I was thinking too, like an embarrassing moment happened to me recently, and I wanted to see like what's in your memory, like what's one of the most embarrassing times. Because I remember, like, I can't think of a lot, but other than this one that just happened, and it happened in the airport. In there, a lot of times when I travel, like, I have like stomach issues. Like, I started getting bloated and stuff like that. And I remember, like, a lot of times I don't want to take a shit anywhere. That's not my house. I don't want to take shit anywhere. So a lot of times I'll wait until I can get to a hotel or whatever. But sometimes you gotta do work, and you gotta do what you gotta do. So I remember, I was like, damn, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm like, so I went. I was like, I hate doing that, but I hate it. I hate doing it. But I'm like, I have to. There's not a choice. So I went and I did what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you take the toilet paper and you put it on top of the toilet, because I'm not putting my ass on that toilet seat where everybody puts their ass. And I don't want to levitate either over it. Hover over it. Like,
yeah, it's not.
I've done that before. That's not comfortable. And sometimes when like, I don't care, because it's like it's an emergency. You gotta get there. But whatever, I put the paper, right? Long strips, boom, boom, cover it, boom, 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 cover it all. I went, and then I finished whatever. I got up, got everything, washed my hands, and then I went back because I was eating Shake Shack. So I walked back to Shake Shack, and I sat back down, and nothing, right? Just eating my meal, whatever, everything normal. And then Mom's like, all right, let's go wait, because we had our plane was delayed. So we were like, let's go sit down and we'll just chill there for a little bit. So we went over there, we sat down, and then Mom told me, I want like a coffee. You don't want like coffee? And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, let me go get it. Like, let me see what is here, and then I'll try to go get us one. And I got up and I walked away. And Mom's like, come here. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And she's like, come here. So I walked back, and she said, turn around. And I'm like, what? And she turned around, and she pulled out the fucking big ass strip of toilet paper. Like, it was clean. But she pulled it out of my pants. I guess.
Oh, it was stuck to your ass?
No. I guess when I pulled my pants up, right, the long strips that I had set on top, it got caught within my waistband. So I was walking around the whole shit, probably like 15 minutes. I was walking around with that shit.
With toilet paper hanging out your ass?
And it was, and it wasn't like a little strip. That shit was like this big.
So it was like, you know how people do the whole the flag for like Norteño Sureño shit? You know how they put it on the back pocket?
Basically, I was flagging that shit, basically.
You were flagging white toilet paper?
Yeah, that shit. And I was like, I remember started laughing hella hard. But I remember in that moment when she pulled it, I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. There's no way. And people saw me.
Nobody said nothing?
Nobody saw me, but there was a girl looking at me. And I was like, whatever, like, it is what it is. But I was like, my thing was like, there's no way. Like, they can't be shit on there. If there's shit on there, that shit takes the embarrassing to like times 20. I'm like, but there's no way.
And
there wasn't no shit on there, to be clear, though. It was just a clean piece. But because when I pulled my pants up, somehow it got caught in my waistband from my back. So it was just hanging out my back, out my ass. And people were walking behind me and seeing me, and they're saying shit.
Man, for sure, there's hella people looking.
And Mom was like, for sure somebody recorded your ass. And I was like, that shit would be funny. Like, if they did send me that shit out.
Yeah, that would be funny. Somebody had been like walking behind you because it's the airport.
There were so many people there.
And they're like, look at them.
I'm surprised that nobody said anything.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Did you recently
take a shit? You got toilet paper out your ass.
You got toilet paper.
And every time I go to the bathroom, I always play it off. Like, nobody just knows I took a fire shit. Nobody knows. Right? Just play it cool. Like,
No, they
Sometimes even when you're in the stalls, you try to time it so where nobody's out of the stalls, nobody's in the bathrooms, nobody sees you.
And you try to time the unload until somebody turns the water. Somebody starts washing their hands. You know the.
Yeah.
So
That's weird though. You don't want. Why is that? Huh? You're in the toilet. Normally, like when I rarely go to these public restrooms, but if I do, I don't want to do like taking up having hella sound.
You gotta wait till somebody starts drying their hands.
But why is that? Like, is that courtesy? Nah, you're in the toilet.
I don't know. Maybe
there's people who don't care about it all. Don't give a fuck.
Some people be in there tooting it up.
No problem. I remember how you said about your when you're at work, somebody was taking a fight shit.
Yeah, somebody was taking a mad one, and I was having a conversation. We didn't know he was in there. We just went in there to wash our hands to go to lunch, and I was talking to my coworker, who's like 6'8", so he's tall. And he went and started taking a piss, and there was a stall next to him where like a shitter, and he was taking a piss right next door. And we were like talking as I was washing my hands, and then the dude that was taking a shit was like a big like, and then the tall guy like looked over the stall, seemed like, and was like, "Hey, quiet down, quiet down, we're talking." That shit was funny when he did that. Guy, so unexpected. And the guy didn't say nothing, but I'm like, I never expected him to say that, especially to do the peek over, because he's 6'8". He can see over that. He's like, "Hey, quiet down over there."
Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.